Hi, and welcome to He Has Answers, a completely free online ministry resource that, while still very much under construction, contains more than enough information to help you come to know the God who made you, knows you, loves you, and whom wants you to come and know Him so you may be saved and have everlasting life. In this series of videos, we'll be reading through a downloadable PDF file of an unfinished free ebook titled He Is, the Truth That God Exists, and the Thorough Investigation of Undeniable Proofs, so that you can see that beyond a reasonable doubt, God is real and the Holy Bible is His Word. If you'd like a copy of this PDF file for yourself, it can be downloaded here by right-clicking this link and saving the link as is in a folder on your own personal computer or even in your mobile device. Now let's begin. Hi, and welcome back to the reading of He Is, a free ebook. One benefit of being able to listen to audio rather than read through the book itself is that you can still follow along with this message even while carrying on with whatever else you might be doing in your day. So I invite you to do just that. Now let's pray. God, please give me a soft and humble heart as I listen. Please open my eyes and my ears and change my spirit so I may know you and worship you in spirit and in truth. Part 3. The devil is real and he wants you to go to hell. He creates caricatures of himself. A rather clever tactic that the devil has employed is to invent or foster ideas that are so outlandish, especially to the philosophical naturalist, that people buy the lie that the notion of a spiritual nemesis is utterly absurd. There is no doubt you've seen the devil depicted as a dapper-looking gentleman with slicked back, black hair with a sharp handlebar mustache over a triangular soul-patch goatee. Let's not forget those pointed and arched suggestive eyebrows. His skin may be red, as is his suit, and he's got that audacious cape on with a cane in one hand and dancing shoes upon his feet. What a distinguished and stylish dandy the devil is, a real lady killer. We see that and we aren't all that concerned. If that's the devil, he's obviously been invented by us. And if by the off chance he were real, he might be a threat by seducing ladies in a nightclub, but obviously a chump for anyone hardier. And so the devil is dismissed in our minds. Of course, we've also got that perversion of the cherubim we mentioned earlier. As the devil was pointed out to us as being a powerful guardian cherub, it would be in his best interest if such a word immediately made us think of something foolish like Cupid shooting arrows on Valentine's Day. The idea that the enemy of our eternal soul is alike to chubby baby holding a harp in a Pampers commercial is preposterous. Then there's the complete opposite. Think of actor Tim Curry's portrayal of the Lord of Darkness in the film Legend. What an absolutely awful and terrifying enemy. If the devil were anything, this would certainly be close, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Even the depiction of the cherubim Ezekiel saw near the Khyber Canal included straight legs and that the soles of their feet were like the sole of a calf's foot. Perhaps when Lucifer fell, his appearance altered to reflect the vileness that was within him. Could this be where the horns came from and why the devil is represented in such a frightening way? It's entirely possible that the devil has undergone such a ghastly and horrific transformation, and he may very well appear like this. But for the devil's purposes of leading astray people and nations, the whole world, and even the church, this is just a diversion like a pump fake in basketball, so the defender anticipates one offensive move and is off his game for the real attack. Although it would undoubtedly be horrifying to have the devil show up in our lives as such, it's far too obvious. If you came home and blood started bleeding out of your ceiling while a pentagram etched itself into your wall, you'd very quickly believe in supernatural evil forces, and that the devil was quite likely very real. You'd probably determine you needed some sort of spiritual helper to aid you in the fight against this evil, and quickly seek out such a benevolent being, wouldn't you? But the greatest trick he's ever pulled has been deceiving us into believing he was a silly man-made invention. So he comes and manifests in our lives in very subtle, sneaky, seductive, and altogether enticing ways that get us off our game and not expecting the real maneuver. He comes so softly and sweetly that nobody bats an eye, and they just let him into their lives. Of course, by now, from all you've read, this is probably starting to become very clear. Lastly, in order to make the idea of the existence of him and his army seem trivial and silly and far below even the greatest simpleton, he persuades people to blame him for everything. He gets people to see a demon under every bush. There's the demon of the burnt toast, the demon of the buttered and garnished toast that falls and always lands face down, the demon of the lost car keys. The list goes on. It all just sounds so silly, doesn't it? When people who pride themselves as sensible hear this sort of talk, it obviously sounds ridiculous and further solidifies their belief that the devil isn't real. An evil being isn't necessary for those things to go wrong. This is where the inspiration behind Steven Spielberg's Gremlins came from. Apparently earlier on, during the 20th century, when military pilots had mysterious and sudden engine troubles, they would joke that a gremlin, a mischievous, impish sort of creature, was to blame. Obviously, this sort of superstitious talk and belief has been used to undermine the reasonable understanding of the devil and how he operates. That being said, friend, we've all heard stories of ghosts moving objects in people's homes to cause them anxiety. And it's also entirely possible that a spirit can somehow interfere with machines and electronics. I'd actually say it's quite likely, considering how an invisible spirit, which resides in a realm parallel to ours and can in some ways interact physically with the matter in it, might be motivated to do so. But are they the culprit for every last negative incident that we experience? Of course not. Just as we are naturally inclined to sin and do not always need their help in coaxing to do so, factors in life can be undesirable and components in our complex devices can malfunction. I hope, my friend, that this short segment on how our enemy pulls the wool over our eyes has been informative and useful for fleshing out yet another tactic in his mode of operations. Thanks for listening to this video, and I hope that it blesses you. Please do share it with others so they may have the opportunity to understand this incredible truth. Be blessed.